Hello, fashion lovers. You're welcome back to Fanimattz YouTube channel. So, if this is your first time of stopping by, please do well to subscribe to my channel. I have loads and loads of amazing tutorials for you guys. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to make a fila. You know the fila that the Yorubas wear to weddings. Okay, I'm going to be teaching you how to make your fila. Okay, this is not just an ordinary filler. This one is a filler that stands out in the crowd. Don't forget to like my video. It helps other people reach the video. So please just stay tuned and enjoy the video. So this is the little cutie we are making this cap for. You can watch his agbada video on my channel. So let's get right into the video. So I'm making this for a 1-year-old child, but you can also use this technique for an adult. So here I'm just marking 9 inches and I'll connect to the end like so. So the next measurement I'll be marking is 11 inches. So I'll mark my 11 inches like so, and I'll take it to the end of the other slant and I'll mark 11 inches as well. So I'm going to connect both points together like so. And I'll cut it out. So the 11 inches is what we are going to be using for the band. But this 9 inches part, just keep that aside because you might need it later. So I'll be cutting 3 of these 11 inches. I'll place it on the ashoke like so again, and I'll cut out the second one. So I'll take one of it again and place it on the ashoke, and I'll cut out the third one. So we'll be making use of 3 of this for the cap. So now here I am on my sewing machine and I'm just going to place my ashoke like so, following the patterns on the ashoke. So when you are doing this, make sure you are placing the ashoke on the woven part. Okay, on the woven part, the part that is neatly woven, that does not fray. So that's where I'm joining together like so. So now I'm placing the third one. You can see the way I'm placing it on it slightly, just slightly on top of the ashoke, and I'm just going to give this a nice top stitch. Make sure your hand is straight when you are top stitching. So once I'm done top stitching the 3 of them together to give me this long piece, I'm going to take the both ends of the ashoke as you see me do, and I will merge them together like so, and I will top stitch them together. And then you top stitch them together like so. Once you are done top stitching, you're going to have a round shape. You're going to have a round shape like this, okay? So the next thing you do is to take it to your table and flatten it. So once you flatten the cap, you can now measure your head circumference. So for the head circumference I'm using for this is 18 inches. So I'll divide that by 2, and then I will add 1 inch to it, okay? So sorry, the head circumference I'm using is 18.5, okay? So I'll divide that by 2 and I'll add my 1 inch. Okay, so don't forget that it's on fold, so I'm adding 1 inch as my seam allowance. So now I'm going to trim out the excess that I have there. Please, whatever excess you have, don't throw any of your excess away until you are done with your cap, okay? So after doing this, now I'm going to be cutting out my lining piece, the same shape, okay? So I'm using a suit lining for this. You can use any lining of your choice, but I'm using a suit lining.
So I've gone ahead to cut out my collar gum. My collar gum is 2.5 inches wide. So the next thing that I'm going to do is to iron the collar gum on the cap. So another thing that you can do is, before you cut out the length you want for the child, you can do this first before you cut out, okay? So I decided to cut the length and added my seam allowance before I cut the collar gum out. So now I'm going to leave about 1/2 inch on this side, on this down part, and then I will iron. If you don't have a steam iron, you can sprinkle water on this and then you press. If it's still giving you any difficulty gluing to the cap, you can use your hemming gum to support it. Okay. So I'll just be showing 1/4 inch on the collar gum. So you can decide to do 1/2 inch, but I'll be going for 1/4 inch. So I'll flip it and then I'll continue. So I'm just cutting off the excess thread that I have here. And then this is what it looks like. Can you see the lines that I have there? In case you don't want to do this, you can skip this, but it's actually beautiful. My lining, the same shape. I cut out the same shape. So now I'm just going to flip this to the right side, to the wrong side, okay? So I'm going to top stitch now. I'm going to join these two together like so. Remember our 1/2 inch sewing allowance that we left here? So I'm going to sew down my 1/2 inch sewing allowance. You can see I'm not sewing on the collar anymore. I'm sewing on the ashoke itself. Okay, so I'm sewing on the allowance that I left there earlier. So once I'm done sewing down the lining to the headpiece, I'm going to flip it over like so, and then I'm going to give this lining, I'm going to top stitch the lining part, okay? So done top stitching. The next thing that I'm going to do is to flip this over like so to the other side. Once I flip, I'm going to make sure that both the lining piece aligns with the lining piece of this other side. I'm not going to do it like so. I'm going to make sure that it aligns, okay? Make sure that it aligns. This is important. Make sure it aligns. At this point, you can take down your measurement, okay? You can take down the measurement of your cap. Bear in mind that I'm making this cap for a baby, a 1-year-old child. So his head circumference is 18.5 inches. So we already did that calculation and I already cut out and I left 1 inch for the seam allowance, okay? So to be on the safe side, you can come back and mark your head circumference like so. You can come and mark your head circumference like so, okay? So then I'm going to start sewing from there because I don't want that point to shift. You just want to make sure that this aligns, okay? So I'm going to sew that down and then you can continue. So once I'm done joining this part, I'm going to flip over to the other side and sew from there. You can just sew from the beginning all the way down to the end. But the reason why I decided to sew from this middle part is because I want my lining piece to align properly with my lining piece, while the ashoke itself aligns with the ashoke. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. If you decide to sew from the beginning, the ashoke might shift. So that's two options for you. So now that I'm done joining my ashoke, I'm going to open it up like so, and then I'm going to give this a good press. So I will advise that when you are making yours, leave at least 1 inch of sewing allowance inside. So you can see that my lining piece aligns with the lining piece. Okay, so I'm just going to give this. So I'm done pressing this down. You can see how this looks. So the next thing, take the lining piece like so, and then I will arrange it neatly. So you want to make sure that your lining piece is neatly hidden inside the ashoke. You don't want it popping out. Once it start popping out, the aim of the lining has been defeated. So you can see what we have. The next thing that I'm going to do, our cap is taking shape gradually, as you can see how this is looking. It's so beautiful. So the next thing that I'm going to do now, in order to further keep this lining piece, because I wouldn't want the lining piece to be popping out, okay? So in order to further keep this lining piece in check, permanently inside, I'm going to be top stitching on that same line, okay? So I'm going to top stitch on that same line all the way around. Lining inside, you can still go ahead and make another top stitching. Okay, you don't want this part to be coming out like so. It won't look nice. Okay, if you want it to further keep the lining inside, we are going to be top stitching on the last part of the top stitch that we made. Okay, so you can see the first line of top stitch, you can see the last top stitch line. So I'm going to be working on the last top stitch line. So, and when you are doing that, make sure you pull your lining. Don't pull and spoil it. Just drag a little, just pull it a little, so that that place will not have any rumples. It will be smooth. So you just take your hand and shift this other part inside like so that you have room to work. So I'm just going to continue with the previous line that I already have there. So actually, okay, to have any pleats, you are good like so. You just, all you need to do is to just cover this circumference of the head that we have here. So, but for people that will be interested in having pleats, because having pleats on your actually, okay, makes it look beautiful as well. You can top stitch on your 1/4 inch mark that you have. Let me flip it inside out so that you can see what our pleats looks like. You can see how the pleat looks. The pleat actually gives it like a different vibe altogether. So like I said, I told you guys that pleating it is really, really nice. It's really, really nice. So you can see what I have. You can see the pleats. So by the time you fold it like so, this part just stands on its own. Okay, so we can go ahead and give this a good press so that the lining piece can relax. I'm pressing this all the way around like so. So now what I'm going to do, I'll match up the side seam like so, and then I will top stitch very close. So as I'm top stitching, I'm pulling the lining so that it will relax. So I'll cut off my excess thread so you can see the lining. You can see how the lining looks now. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to trim off this excess lining that we have here. So trim it off. So to get the round circumference for this our cap, any excess you cut out when you are drafting, please don't throw it away because you will need it later. Okay, this was the one I cut out from the gele when I joined. Okay, because the child is a baby, so the head circumference is not too big. So if it's an adult, you might not get this much cut out from yours if you are making for an adult. Okay, so now I'm just going to check if this will be enough to cover the circumference of this my cap. So, and to do that, what you have to do is to place the ashoke like so, and then you place your cap on top of it. You can see, you can see what I have. So when you place it, you want to make sure that you have a little bit of excess all the way around the the cap. So me, I have excess here, so you can see all the way around it. So this will be okay for me to cover the upper part. But I'm still going to tell you that if you don't have enough to cover the top of your cap, in case maybe you now have something like this, I hope you can see the inside. Let me see. Let me raise this a little. Okay. So in case you have something that looks like this and you still have space inside the cap, you take your cutout, like your excess fabric that you have left, you now take it to the sewing machine. You now join it like so. You top stitch it down. When you are top stitching, make sure that you are top stitching the part that is neatly woven, like this part that have all these rumples, all this thread that can shed. You won't join this part. Okay, you make sure that what you have will be neatly woven, and the other part that you are joining it to too will be neatly woven. So you place it and you top stitch it down. Then you, after doing that, you now take your cap and place it on top to see if you have enough. So I'm just saying this so that in case your own is not enough, but for mine, what I have left is enough to complete my project. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do now, I will take my chalk and I'm going to mark all around the cap, like so, all around the cap. So you can see, let me mark it out so that you see it very well. I can see it clearly. So this is what I have. In case you don't want to do it this way, you can mark, you can measure around the cap like so and cut out flay to cover it. But this is very, very easy to do. Just place it like so and mark it down. So the next thing that I'm going to do now, I will take my lining piece. I will place my lining piece on top of it like so. And then I'm going to top stitch the lining piece down on the cap. I'm not trimming on this line. I'm going to leave like half an inch allowance all the way around it. So that's why you have to leave extra space around it when you want to place the cap so that to get out what you cut. Okay, so leave extra inches all around it. From your seam line, from the circle line, leave extra allowance. So now I'm going to sew this down. So I'll take this edge and face it to the cap. So right side facing each other like so, and then I'm going to sew the cap down. So I am done. So I have excess. Yes, I will just trim this out to leave my half of an inch there. So the next thing, once you are done with this and you are satisfied with the result you have, the next thing you are going to do is to take this to the weaving machine and weave it all the way around to keep it in place. Or if you don't want to weave this all the way around, you can, if you don't have a weaving machine close to you, you can use your bias tape to tape the you can use your bias tape to conceal the rough edge that you have. To do is I'll open this up like so, and then I'll place it like so to cover the rough edge. and then I'll top stitch this down. So I feel that this method is even far better than using weaving. It's better than weaving. This is what I think. Okay, so you can decide that when you weave yours, so you can see the difference. So I prefer to use a matching color bias to finish it up like so. So guys, after you are done making your cap, you need to press the all this side. You need to press it. So you place it like so and press it so that it will relax. So you will do that round. So you can see that it's relaxed. So when you press it, you can see the shape that it has. So it will relax.
So we are done with our cap. This is me packaging his outfit. This is the agbada. I have the video of the agbada on my YouTube channel, and I have the video of how to make the trouser for a 1-year-old baby and how to make a senator top for a 1-year-old baby. All this is up on my YouTube channel, so don't forget to watch this video and make something beautiful and send to me on our Facebook soul group at Fanimattz Fashion Academy. So you can see how clean the cap is, and I'm done packaging, and this is ready for delivery. So please, like I always say, always package your work nicely.